The airport you think you know is hiding things from you, and some of them are worth hundreds of dollars. Airports are designed to do two things: move you efficiently toward your gate and extract as much money from you as possible before you board. The overpriced water, the hard plastic chairs, the confusing terminal layouts, none of that is accidental. These 7 secrets change the airport experience completely. Some save money, some save time, some save your sanity, and one could put cash directly back in your pocket the next time something goes wrong. We're going from 7 to 1. Stay until the end, because number 1 is the most valuable piece of travel information most people will ever not know. Number 7, the free water nobody talks about. Airports charge $6 for a bottle of water that you were always allowed to bring for free. Let's start with the simplest one, because the number of people who still buy bottled water past airport security in 2026 is genuinely remarkable. Every airport in the US, UK, Canada, and Australia allows you to bring an empty water bottle through the security checkpoint. Any size, any brand, any material. The TSA liquid rule applies to filled containers, not empty ones. The moment your bottle clears the scanner, it can be filled with water, and that water costs absolutely nothing. Most major airports now have dedicated water bottle refill stations installed post-security, typically located near restrooms and food courts. These aren't ancient drinking fountains. They're filtered water stations with sensors that detect your bottle and fill it quickly and cleanly. Major hubs including Heathrow, JFK, LAX, Chicago O'Hare, and Sydney Airport have them installed throughout their terminals. Stansted Airport in the UK actively promotes its filling stations on its official travel tips page. The infrastructure is there. The access is free. Almost nobody uses it. The fix takes 2 seconds. Pack an empty bottle in your carry-on before you leave the house. The only habit change required is remembering not to fill it before you leave. That's it. One of the most straightforward money-saving moves in all of travel. And it's the one that the $6 bottle of water at the departure gate is counting on you to never figure out. But here's the twist. Secret number 6 involves a hidden space inside most major airports that the majority of passengers walk straight past without ever knowing what's behind the door. Secret number 6, hidden quiet rooms, yoga spaces, and chapels. Every major airport is hiding a free sanctuary from the chaos. You just have to know to ask for it. Airports are engineered to feel busy. Noise, stimulation, retail pressure, and constant movement are baked into the passenger flow design. What airports don't advertise is that most major hubs contain at least one dedicated quiet space, a room specifically designed to offer relief from the terminal environment that is completely free and open to all passengers, regardless of ticket class or airline status. More than half of the large hub airports in the U.S., those handling 1% or more of the nation's annual passengers, offer one or more chapels or meditation spaces for staff and passengers alike. These spaces have evolved well beyond their original religious function and are now broadly open to all travelers looking for a quiet space for reflection, rest, or simply 10 minutes of silence away from the gate area. They are rarely prominently signposted, and the vast majority of passengers move through the terminal without ever discovering they exist. SFO has 2 dedicated yoga rooms. Chicago O'Hare has a yoga room in Terminal 3. Chicago Midway has one on Concourse C. Denver International Airport has what it describes as a secret garden, a quiet public lounge area with comfortable couches and reclined chairs on the second level of the concourse mezzanine. Frankfurt Airport in Germany has 2 quiet rooms alongside 10 dedicated prayer rooms. Philadelphia International has a dedicated quiet room for solitude and meditation. Newark Liberty International Airport has sensory rooms both pre- and post-security. LaGuardia's Terminal C has a dedicated sensory room offering soft lighting and gentle sounds for passengers who find the airport environment overwhelming. These spaces are almost never on the airport's main tourist map. They appear on detailed terminal floor plans available online or on digital. Terminal maps inside the airport. The most reliable way to find them is to look up your specific airport's official floor plan before you travel, or ask any airport information desk staff. Not retail staff, not gate agents, but the dedicated airport information personnel found at central desks in most large terminals. Up next, Secret 5. And this one has the potential to save you $50 in the next 10 minutes on your very next trip with nothing more than the right credit card. Secret number 5. Airport lounge access that costs less than lunch. Most travelers think airport lounges are for first-class passengers only. They are wrong, and the gap between that belief and reality is worth knowing. The Premium Airport Lounge is one of the most widely misunderstood travel facilities in existence. A large proportion of travelers assume these spaces are exclusively available to business class flyers, airline status holders, or people with more money than most. The reality in 2026 is more democratic and more accessible than that assumption suggests. And knowing the access routes can transform a 2-hour layover from an exercise in hard seat endurance into something that genuinely resembles a comfortable pre-flight experience. Many credit cards offer complimentary lounge access. Cards like the Chase Sapphire Reserve, American Express Platinum, or Capital One Venture X can unlock entry to Priority Pass lounges worldwide. Priority Pass alone gives access to over 1,300 lounges in more than 140 countries. If you already carry one of these cards and haven't activated your lounge access benefit, you may be sitting on a free amenity that you've been paying for without ever using. In some cases, you need to enroll with Priority Pass separately or make a quick call to your card issuer to activate access, a 5-minute step that unlocks over 1,000 lounges worldwide. For travelers without premium card access, LoungeBuddy and the Priority Pass app sell single visit passes for $30 to $50, which is worth it for long layovers or delays. Lounges offer free food, drinks, Wi-Fi, showers, comfortable seating, and quiet spaces. If your layover is over 3 hours, a lounge day pass often pays for itself in food and drink savings alone. A single meal at an airport restaurant can cost $25 to $35. A day pass at $40 that includes a full buffet, unlimited drinks, fast Wi-Fi, and a comfortable chair for 3 hours represents genuine value, particularly on routes where delays are common. What most people don't realize is the full scope of what the best lounges offer beyond food and seating. Beyond free drinks and buffets, the best airport lounges offer nap rooms with adjustable lighting, actual sleep pods where you can lie down in a quiet room with a real pillow, and spa facilities with complimentary treatments. These amenities are real, but as the same research notes, most travelers use only a fraction of what's available because they never ask what else is there. When you enter a lounge for the first time, ask staff directly what facilities are available. The answer will frequently surprise you. Secret 4 is something most travelers do every single day at the airport, and they're almost always doing it in a way that costs them more than it needs to. Secret number 4, the gate change that could make you miss your flight. Your boarding gate changed 20 minutes ago. Your phone hasn't told you yet, and this happens more than you think. Gate changes at major airports are extraordinarily common, and the gap between when a gate change is registered in the system and when it actually appears on a passenger's phone notification or airline app update is longer than most travelers realize. Airlines push app notifications on their own schedule. Airport departure boards update independently. And in a busy terminal during a disrupted operational day, the gate information on the board you're sitting next to can be 20 to 30 minutes behind what's actually happening at the airline's operations center. The consequences are real. Every major airport handles multiple passengers per month who miss boarding. Not because they arrived late, but because they waited at the originally assigned gate while their aircraft boarded at a different gate 400 meters away, and the notification never arrived in time. When you arrive at your gate, photograph the departure board showing your gate number and boarding time. Gates change frequently, and your phone's airline app does not always update in real time. Having a photo of the original board gives you a reference point, but the more important habit is checking the physical departure board, the large overhead screens throughout the terminal, at 45 minutes before departure and again at 30 minutes before departure, regardless of what your app shows. These boards update on the airport system directly, which typically runs ahead of what is pushed to individual passenger devices. The second part of this secret is understanding the walk time at your specific airport. Research by the Association of British Travel Agents found that passengers at London airports face walks of over half a mile with each visit. London Stansted has one of the longest distances between check-in and departure gate, 3,822 feet, or over 1,165 meters. In the U.S., airports like Dallas-Fort Worth, Denver International, and Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson require transit times between terminals that can run 15 to 20 minutes even for a fit traveler moving quickly. If your gate changes from one terminal to another 35 minutes before boarding, and you discover it only when the notification arrives on your phone, you may have 8 minutes to cover a 15-minute walk. The habit that eliminates this risk entirely: identify the physical location of your assigned gate when you clear security, note which direction a gate change would require you to move, and build a 5-minute buffer check into your terminal routine at 45 minutes before departure. Not from your phone, from the board above your head. Secret number 3. The overbooking compensation most passengers leave on the table. Airlines owe you real cash when they bump you, and the majority of passengers never collect it. This is the one that costs travelers collectively hundreds of millions of dollars every year. Not because the money isn't there, but because passengers accept whatever the gate agent first offers and walk away without understanding what the law actually entitles them to receive. Overbooking is legal. Every airline does it. The logic is straightforward. Airlines sell more seats than exist on the aircraft, calculating that a predictable percentage of passengers will cancel or not show up. When more passengers arrive than the aircraft can accommodate, the airline needs volunteers or must involuntarily deny boarding to selected passengers. Both situations come with very different financial outcomes. And the difference between knowing and not knowing that distinction is the difference between a $50 food voucher and $1,550 in cash. Under USDOT rules, involuntary denied boarding triggers mandatory cash compensation, 200% of the ticket price up to $775 for delays under 2 hours, and 400% of the ticket price up to $1,550 for delays of 2 hours or more on domestic flights. U.S. regulations mandate cash for involuntary denied boarding. Airlines cannot force you to accept vouchers. For passengers flying to or from the European Union, the figures are similarly significant. EU Regulation 261/2004 guarantees €250 for flights under 1,500 kilometers, €400 for flights between 1,500 and 3,500 kilometers, and €600 for long-haul flights over 3,500 kilometers. Paid in cash, not vouchers, unless you explicitly agree to accept a voucher. Here is the critical distinction that airlines count on passengers not understanding. When the gate agent asks for volunteers to take a later flight in exchange for compensation, that is voluntary denied boarding. You negotiate the terms. You can ask for more. You give up your statutory compensation rights in exchange for whatever deal you agree to accept. Airlines paid out over $500 million in 2025 claims. And passenger rights services report 97% success rates on valid claims. The money is there. The legal framework is clear. The airlines are simply betting that most passengers will accept the first number offered without asking what the law actually says. And this is where it gets crazy. If you are involuntarily denied boarding, the airline must provide written confirmation of the denial and the compensation amount. You are entitled to demand this in writing at the gate. If the agent offers you a voucher for involuntary bumping and you are a U.S. domestic passenger, you can decline the voucher and request cash or a check. The regulation is unambiguous. Compensation is based on delay length and ticket price. Bottom is capped at $2,150. If the airline does not pay what is owed, you can escalate to the U.S. Department of Transportation. The practical move. Know the difference between voluntary and involuntary before you reach the gate. If the gate agent is asking for volunteers, you have the option to negotiate aggressively before agreeing to anything. If you are selected involuntarily, ask immediately for the compensation amount in writing and confirm you want cash, not a voucher. Those two sentences, spoken calmly at the gate, are worth up to $1,550 in certain situations, and the agent is not required to tell you that unprompted. Secret 2 is something that happens to almost every traveler who checks bags, and there is a precise moment during the airport process where you can use it to your advantage in a way that almost nobody does. Secret number 2, the check-in counter upgrade that gate agents can actually give. The best time to ask for a seat upgrade isn't at the gate. It's earlier, quieter, and less competitive than you think. The upgrade conversation is one of the most misunderstood topics in all of travel. The internet is full of advice about dressing well, being charming, and timing your gate arrival perfectly. Most of it is mildly useful at best, but there is one specific upgrade mechanism that frequent flyers use consistently, one that has nothing to do with luck, status, or wardrobe, and it works because of how airlines manage their seat inventory in the final hours before departure. Airlines release unsold premium seats into a discounted upgrade pool at different points before departure, depending on the carrier. Some release them 24 hours out, others as close as 90 minutes before the flight. The window during which these seats are available at reduced cost, sometimes a fraction of the normal upgrade price, is visible in the airline's app under the Upgrade section of your booking. Savvy, frequent travelers check the seat map and upgrade availability through the airline app repeatedly in the final 24 hours before departure, because airlines are constantly changing their seat maps right up until boarding. But the secret that most people miss is the check-in counter, not the gate. By the time you reach the departure gate, every other upgrading passenger has already been through the same queue. The check-in agent, particularly at a dedicated full-service counter with relatively few passengers, has both the authority to process seat changes and the time to engage with your request properly. Gate agents are managing boarding, passenger counts, weight calculations, and a queue of people simultaneously. Check-in agents, especially in the hour after their counter opens, have significantly more bandwidth. What works? Be specific, be polite, and make it easy for the agent to help you. I'm traveling on my own, I'm flexible on the connection if needed, and I'd love to know if there's any availability in a better seat at a reduced rate. That framing, specific, not demanding, acknowledging their constraints, gives an agent who wants to help you the clearest possible path to actually doing it. United Airlines updated its Mileage Plus Premier Status Match Challenge for 2026, allowing qualifying elite members of other airline programs to receive complimentary United status for up to 120 days. A status match unlocks lounge access, priority boarding, extra baggage allowance, and fast-track upgrade eligibility, again, without meeting the usual annual flying requirements. If you hold any airline elite status at all, even with a competitor, it takes 5 minutes to check whether your carrier offers a status match. The frequent flyers who know about this move have used it to access benefits at airlines they rarely fly simply by registering a status they already have somewhere else. Secret number 1 is the biggest of all 7, not because it's the most dramatic, but because it is a structural feature of every airport experience that works silently against every traveler who doesn't know it exists. Secret number 1. The lounge and airport you're already inside that you don't know about. There is an entirely different airport experience happening inside the same building you're standing in right now. And most people never find it. This is the secret that reframes the entire airport experience once you understand it. Inside every major international airport, there is a layered infrastructure of spaces, services, and access tiers that operate simultaneously within the same building. The airport you know. Departure boards, retail concessions, hard plastic gate seating, overpriced coffee, is the surface layer. Beneath it, or adjacent to it, is a parallel environment that runs on different rules and that an enormous proportion of travelers are inadvertently eligible to access without realizing it. Most travelers know at a surface level that airport lounges exist. Fewer know the full range of ways to access them. Even fewer know what the best ones actually contain. And almost nobody knows the specific physical locations within their terminal where the least crowded, least discovered quiet spaces and premium facilities are concentrated, because that information is never printed on the map handed out at arrivals. Here is the framework that changes how you navigate airports permanently. Before every trip, take 5 minutes to look up 3 things for your specific departure airport. First, the location of the water refill station's post security. Second, the location of any quiet room, meditation space, yoga room, or interfaith room in your terminal. And third, the lounge options available to you given your credit cards and airline status, including day pass prices from Lounge Buddy or Priority Pass for a single visit. Compare the cost of a lounge day pass against what you'd spend on an airport meal and coffee. If your layover is over 3 hours, the lounge pass typically pays for itself in food and drink alone, before you factor in the Wi-Fi, the comfortable seating, the showers, and the quiet environment. So the break-even calculation is simple and fast. On a long connection, a $40 lounge pass against a $30 restaurant meal, a $6 coffee, and a $6 water bottle means the lounge saves money and gives you a vastly better experience for the same outlay. The deeper secret, the one that ties every other item on this list together, is that airports do not profit from you knowing where the free water is, where the quiet room is, or how to access the lounge for $40. The entire commercial design of a passenger terminal is built around monetizing the time between check-in and boarding. The retail layout, the food court positioning, the distance between security and the gate, the scarcity of comfortable free seating near departure areas, all of it is deliberate. Understanding that the airport is a commercial environment specifically designed to separate you from your money is not cynicism. It is useful information. The travelers who move through airports efficiently, calmly, and cheaply are not luckier than everyone else. They know where the refill station is. They know which credit card gets them into the lounge. They photographed the gate board when they cleared security. They know what the DOT compensation rules say about involuntary bumping. They know there's a yoga room on Concourse C, and they checked the upgrade availability on the app 90 minutes before departure. None of those things require status. None of them require premium tickets. All of them require knowing, which is exactly what this video was for. If this gave you something genuinely useful, share it with the next person you know who's got a flight coming up, because the best time to learn this stuff is before you're standing at the gate. Next video, we're going deep on the 7 airline fees that are completely avoidable if you know the right words to say at check-in. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and we'll see you on the next one.